Great Girlfriends podcast where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I am your host, Brandis Daniel.
I'm your co-host, Sybil Amuti.
We miss you!
Happy New Year! Merry Christmas!
New Year,
Happy
I know.
Kwanzaa! Happy Hanukkah! Happy, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh, I feel like it's been forever.
It has been.
Oh,
I'm so
we
excited
missed
about
you
recording
all.
today.
Girlfriends, we missed you so much.
So much.
And thank you for all the messages checking in on us and saying hi and saying we deserve the break that we got.
I know.
That support was awesome.
That was the first time we've taken a break into over 2 years.
Yes.
We had, up until that point, we had put out a podcast every single Wednesday consistently for 24 months.
Yes.
Through a lot of stuff, through travel and everything.
Yes. That break felt like heaven.
It did. It was
It
needed.
did.
It was so needed.
What did you do on the break, Brandis?
Worked, but
All right. I feel like it was a break from one, but work for the other.
It was, but it was good. I got a chance to just kind of relax a bit. Memphis was fantastic.
Hey.
It's been good. Yeah, it's been good. Good, really exciting projects and like a lot of clarity and a lot of peace. I don't know. I'm just really excited about life.
You guys can't see her right now, but I'm sitting here looking at her eyes, and she has like this twinkle in her eyes. And we're actually recording live in our Facebook group, The Great Girlfriends.
Yes.
And so they're all able to see this twinkle that Brandis has in her eyes right now. She's like, new projects. And her eyes are fluttering because she's like dazzling over here in excitement over these new projects that are happening.
Oh, and I spent some of my time on the break binge listening to the Grace podcast.
Aww.
Which was like so good, like food for my soul. I felt like I had been to church. Like it was so good. I was like, you better bring it, Sybil.
Oh,
So
thank
good.
you. Thank you.
So if you guys have not, you have to listen to the Grace podcast. It's amazing. Like if you're looking for just, sometimes you just need something to feed your soul. And so it was fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm having
Absolutely.
fun-ish,
It's good.
Going where God says go, doing what he says do,
Yeah.
when he says do it.
Right.
This whole obedience exercise that I'm in right now. And it's been rewarding, and I'm very grateful to have an opportunity to put out another podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So what'd you do?
Oh
over the
my
holiday
goodness.
break?
I was with my family in Memphis,
Mm-hmm.
and the break was fantastic. We did another road trip home.
Yay.
Can you believe it?
I can't.
I can't either, but it was so much fun. The
Mm-hmm.
kids asked to do the road trip so we could all be together in the car. So we rented a minivan, and they have they turn the back into like a living room.
Oh, wow.
So they the seats go flat. They got games
wow.
out, books and iPads, and it's like a whole house back there. And it was good. I mean,
that's
we
so much
literally
fun.
did the drive overnight. Big shout out to great girlfriend Nicole, who was a driver
Yes.
with us. So
Nicole
the three
Williams?
of us. Yeah.
Okay.
Nicole Williams. Yes, she drove with us. And what was great about it, we all split the time. So we ended up getting there roughly 17, 18 hours round trip, which is not bad. Each way, excuse me.
Okay.
So it was good. My family's doing great. I just really just kind of sat under them and consumed their love and just enjoyed being there.
And then we got a chance to see our Memphis Great Girlfriends.
I know. So Memphis. Memphis, here it is.
That's
all right.
not simple. Don't.
Well, we have to tell them, though. It's not that we did not want to host the 2 days of events.
Yes.
Right? Let's be clear. We wanted to do that. Mm-hmm. But the logistics that go behind making 2 events happen back to back require a lot of advance notification from the people that plan to come.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So if Memphis is asking for an event and we say, okay, here it is. We're going to give it to you, Memphis. And then y'all say, yeah, we're excited. We're going to call our girlfriends. And then by the week before, we have like a 50% confirmation or less. That's not enough for us to be able to move forward on the full event.
Yeah.
So what we did do was, for those that were early bird ticket purchasers, was an intimate dinner, and a percentage of those people came to the dinner, and we actually hosted and paid for the dinner.
They actually, the great girlfriends who showed up early actually got treated by the great girlfriends.
They got treated by the great girlfriends.
And got an intimate experience, and we ended up doing basically a mastermind.
It was basically a mastermind, and it was good. And so for those of you that were interested in Memphis and couldn't make it, What Women Want is happening in June.
Yes.
In New York.
Yes.
And you got to get there early. Plain and simple, you got to just confirm. Let this be 2018 be the year that when you say yes, you head on over to Eventbrite.
Don't waste time. Do not waste.
Don't waste time.
Don't waste time.
You make it happen.
When these tickets come out for the What Women Want conference, don't waste time, great girlfriends, because we have limited capacity because of what we're doing this year, and the way that we're going to, you guys know you get spoiled way too much when you come to New York. But we want to do some really incredible experiences for you in New York and in New Jersey as well. Mm-hmm. And so we don't have, thousands of tickets. So if you know you want a ticket, when those tickets go on sale, the date is June 21st and 22nd.
Yep.
So you got the dates already. You know them. You have them marked down. You can go ahead and get your flights around those dates and hotels around those dates. But when these conference tickets are released, don't waste time.
Please don't waste time.
I'm telling you. Because
the emails after that, I didn't make it, I couldn't be there, those, I'm going to forward them back to you. Yeah. I'm going to let you take responsibility for those. And we are not going to take responsibility. And that's housekeeping for the day.
So you are nuts. I just noticed your thing.
That's housekeeping for the day.
Yeah. All right.
So let's dive into this 2018 content. Let's do this.
All right. Let's
Brandis.
go. All right. So, so this is a brand new year. Mm-hmm. And so the cool thing about a new year is it's like a blank slate to create whatever it is you want to create. Except sometimes we look back, and if we go back even to like 2015, 2014, we are coming to 2018 with the same thing we said we wanted to do in 2014.
Yikes.
And so one of the things I feel that stop us from moving forward is that we get into this mind game with ourselves of saying, but if I do this, wait a minute, if I do this, what if this happens? And then if I do that, then what if this happens? Then if I do that, then what if this happens? I can't take that. Forget it.
Yes.
And a lot of times it's not like the second what if. It's literally like the third what if.
Right.
We've planned out like the third step of what if. And that third step of what if gives us anxiety. So we just decide we're not going to do it.
Yes.
And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
But guess what? That spins into another set of what ifs.
Right.
But what if I never do it?
Right.
But what happened? What if I never see it happen?
Right.
What will my life be like if I don't do X, Y, and Z?
Exactly.
I mean, it's a never ending. And I love that you said you got to scrap that what if. Yep. You have to scrap it all together.
Just scrap the what if.
Yeah, I think that's optimal. I know, like what you said, you think about the top of the year, and I love the amount of ambition that people come into the year with. I mean, people come into the year just steamrolling, like, I'm taking over my weight. I'm taking over my finances. I'm changing this. I'm going to open that business. I'm going to, get on that app, or I'm going to meet a matchmaker and date again, or I'm going to, travel the world.
Yep.
That's January.
Yeah.
January. And I mean, if I had a dime for every resolution or wish or command that we placed out in January, I promise you I'd be sitting on my wealth plan. Millions and billions for sure. But what happens is that thing that we forget is that subconsciously, if we don't carve out some of the fear and things that are mounted up in our subconscious, we can never move past them so that we can actualize any of those things that
Absolutely.
we desire. And it's not that we don't desire them, it's just that we have that mental mind game going on. Mental mind game. We have that mental game that's going on. And it's sort of like a war in your mind. I feel like it's a war between your heart and your mind.
It is.
I think your heart tells you one thing. So I really think your spirit and your heart are connected, and they tell you one thing. And I think your mind is like, girl, you got to stay protected.
Right.
What if you're not enough? What if they don't love you? What if and then you start going down
what
that
if you run
list.
out of money? What if you
Yeah.
all of it?
What if it just doesn't work out?
Yeah.
You know.
What if you look crazy? What if you get embarrassed? What if
And how about this?
What if they talk about you?
Right, which they will,
Right.
and it's okay.
Right.
But what about the fact that we have all of these examples of people that have done, things that defy the odds, that, even defy gravity, that look totally crazy and peculiar to the public or to the public eye, but were actually faith-based and moved mountains and created all these amazing industries and pioneered paths and so forth. But we create all these justifications why they were capable and we're not.
Absolutely.
Isn't that something? We disqualify ourselves, and we've said this before.
Yeah.
But that disqualification process, we run ourselves through it. We vet ourselves through disqualification process before anyone else gets a chance to.
Right. It's so true.
And that what if is the leading question.
Right.
You're absolutely right. We got to scrap it.
We just got to scrap the what if totally.
Yeah.
So, great girlfriends, upon popular demand, I'm bringing something back.
Wait, I want to know where this demand came from. Upon
popular demand, I'm going to bring something back to the Great Girlfriends podcast.
She had two text messages. And that's popular demand. It don't take but two. Brandis is an old school soul winner. If you just get one hand raiser, that's enough that's demand. What are you bringing back?
Oh gosh, Sybil, I am bringing back something based on popular demand, and that is the questions. So I have a question for you.
I don't want to do
What
this.
is you haven't ever wanted to do this.
Here we go.
So, a question for you. Like,
Yes.
Okay, two questions.
Okay.
One is, what is one of those what ifs in your, like, one of those things in your life that you ask, I know I should do this, but what if this? But that you moved on it and you saw, like, amazing results from it. I'll start with that question.
You already know my number one.
What?
It would be love.
So give us more.
It would absolutely be love. It would be me coming out of the scenario that I was in, where I had been in an off and on whatever maintenance relationship.
And you were afraid of love.
I wasn't afraid of love. I didn't believe in it.
Love. You didn't believe
I didn't believe that it was something that I needed to. Maybe I could. Yeah, truth. I was afraid of love.
You were afraid of love because you said
at the root.
You said, "If I love, what if what?"
Well,
what were some of the things that went through your mind?
In my mind, the question was, what if I can't be faithful to someone for a long time? Like forever is like that's it for me.
That's a long time, yeah.
And because my parents have been married, my entire life, that was my blueprint. That marriage was this thing that just never ending life cycle with a person.
And it is.
and it is. But my fear or my question was, what if I can't be faithful? Because I had never practiced that. So I was like, well, what if I can't be committed to one person? Like, how will that work? And I was like, yeah, that doesn't work.
You know you sound like a dude right now.
I do sound like a dude. I know they like, what?
The great girlfriends are shocked at Paul.
Great girlfriends. Clutch your pearls.
Sybil was a player.
I was a Rolling Stone. I mean, no, seriously, I just wasn't. I was not going to give my heart.
Clutch your pearls.
Clutch your pearls. I was not going to give my heart without an insurance plan, and that meant having a backup person to the backup to the backup, and that just kept going. But what I was really absolutely apprehensive of was the idea that I could be committed to someone for what seemed like eternity, and in my heart, I wanted to give it a try, but my mind kept telling me that I wasn't that I wouldn't be good at it. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And I know we hear it most of the time from guys, but
Right.
I think there are a lot of women out there who could really be honest with themselves and be like, hand raiser, I actually,
Yeah.
may have been,
Yeah. That's so good. Okay, second question. What is a what if for you right now? Do you have any what ifs now? Like there's something that you are being called to do, or maybe something
Absolutely.
recently, and you're saying, but what if?
Did you just set me up?
No.
Brandon's be slick setting people up, y'all. I just want to warn you. No, I live under what if. Because literally probably 15 years ago when I decided that my life was going to be pleasing to God, I always have the question of what if I don't please God? My pleasing God comes from me doing like what he said do in the way he said do. So I'm constantly under the mind of, well, I have to do this because if I don't, the consequence for me is more devastating for me. So I live under, but what if I don't please God? I have to make the right decision because if I'm not pleasing to God, then for me, my life is not serving its value.
Yeah.
So that has become my new what. The faithfulness thing, I feel like I got that.
Yeah.
I have been faithful to my husband from the day we met. Right. Let me just be clear. But it's become higher. It's more. It's become more elevated. It's less about me taking actions that line up with things that I want to see. It's more about me being in alignment with God and saying, all right, what if I miss God on that?
Yeah.
I have to make sure I'm following the sequence that God wants me in.
That's so good.
What about you, Brandis?
I think to the first question, I was so afraid of. I used to play in the background and shrink a ton because I said, first it was like, what if I'm not enough, right? What if people are expecting one thing and I get there and I'm not enough? And then the second thing for me was, what if I get this success and people decide that for whatever reason, I don't deserve it, or come against me in some way. What if I get persecuted? And so
That's
it
good.
used to keep me from wanting to move forward, or from being in the spotlight, or for going after certain opportunities. And the only way that I was able to work through that, well, there were two things. One thing was I did go to therapy for the fear of success thing, because I think that's a real fear that a lot of us have, that we don't even acknowledge it. Sometimes we acknowledge it as fear of failure, but I think we're a lot more afraid of success.
And real quick, we have an episode on that. Go to thegreatgirlfriends.com.
Yes.
Carve through it. It's like in the 30s, episode
is.
30-something-ish, but it was so good. It might be before that, but it was really a good episode. Yeah.
And then the second thing was, the second way I dealt with it was, one time I called my sister and I was saying some what ifs to her, and she said, well, let's play it all the way through. And she literally made me play through all my what ifs. And she said, well, what if this? And I said, they was so-and-so, so-and-so. And what if that? Then this would happen. And what if this? And she made me play through all my what ifs. And it was like, I'd never done that before. Because, people say, like, when you get, like, a fearful thought, like, no, just stop it right then and there. But she literally made me ride all of my what ifs.
She's like, crash the car. Go ahead.
She's like, let's just ride all these what ifs out. And at the end of my what ifs, I realized that God would still have me covered. And I realized that if the worst happened to me, that I would still be covered by God. And that he would still, like, have me.
That's so
and
good.
protect me and cover me. You know what I mean? Because, And it was like, I think the second thing was like like a surrender, you know, because when you truly kind of surrender your dreams and your ambition, and I'll never forget, what's his name, Mike, Pastor Mike at FCBC. He said, hold loosely the thing that you love most. And like, I thought that was like so powerful. And it's something that I kind of took with me. Like, the thing that I love the most, like, hold it loosely. And like, give that thing like the most, like, give that thing, like, let it go and give it up and be like, okay, God, this is yours, right? And I think when we do that, we realize that we're really not operating in ourselves, because a lot of the time that what if thing is like a pride and ego thing.
Absolutely.
If you really like kind of drill it all the way down, like, it's our pride. We don't want our pride to get hurt, or we don't want our ego to get hurt. Because if you drill what ifs down, it usually comes down to your ego.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, like, that surrender moment, really, just surrendering it, really released me in a way. And I was just like, let's just go. Let's just see let's just see how far we can go with this.
Yeah.
And God, if you open the door, I'm walking through it. I'm not gonna like shrink back from an opportunity because of anything. Because if you open the door, I'm going.
Yeah.
And if I fall, I fall.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing has been it's just kind of, I don't know, it's released me from a lot. Tons. My what if right now is what if I get pregnant? What if I have another baby? That's my what if. My what if at this very moment that I'm struggling with is, if I have a second child, what if, you know, what does that do to my time? What does that do to me financially? Like, how am I going to be in New York City when, you know, though I have like the most incredible in-laws ever, but my family is in Memphis. So like, what if my second child is not as close to my family as Sky is? Like, all these like crazy what ifs, like I have them.
Yeah.
You know, like, what if my second pregnancy isn't as good as my first pregnancy?
Yeah.
What if I'm not able to do what I did? Because my first time, I mean, I was moving and grooving. Moving slow.
You did well,
Moving
though.
slow.
You did well. I'm going to clap it up for you. I'm going to clap it up.
I was moving slow.
But let me ask you this
But
question.
I was moving and grooving.
What do you think your what ifs are protecting you from?
What do you mean? That one about the
All
pregnancy?
of them. Like, when you say your what ifs, they're protecting you from what? Because we say them because we think that we're creating an insurance plan.
I think it's protecting me from the unknown.
And what is it about the unknown that intimidates you? And this is not for you.
I think it's...
Listener, if this applies to you at all, then you write it in your pen and take your pen and paper and write it.
Yeah, I think it's the unknown. I think it's walking into a place that is very different for me, and wondering if I'm going to be able to navigate it in the same way I was able to navigate things before, right? Because new things require a new set of tools, and that's when faith comes in, because you have to have faith that God is going to equip you with the tools that you need.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think that since you have become a mom in New York City, that you got a new set of tools?
Oh, yeah.
What new tools did you get?
I mean, there is no hood like motherhood.
Right, but what tools do you have that are new that you didn't have before?
I think my tools that I have new is time management on a whole nother scale, like on a whole nother level. It came from me. I had Sky at home with me for 14 months.
I know, but where did this new time management tool come from? Did somebody email it? Did it come from the sky?
Oh, no, it came from me.
It came from within.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
always there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting, though?
It is interesting. It is interesting.
Everything we need, we have.
We have it. You're right.
Like, we circulate around
We
all
do.
of these things that we need that our what ifs tell us that we don't, because we disqualify, right? We're like, what if, what if this happens? Because these what ifs would happen if we were inferior in any way.
Yeah.
Then these what ifs would become true.
Yeah.
So in order to avoid the what ifs as to not be a failure as a mom, you had to employ something new that was already on the inside of you.
It's so true.
So that the what ifs would not become your
Right.
your reality.
Right.
So I think it's so interesting because we're trying to protect ourselves from ourselves.
It's true.
It's like we're trying to
true.
protect ourselves from all the good stuff that's waiting to be revealed on the inside.
It's so, and some things I can say this with absolute certainty. There are certain things that will never be revealed until you put yourself into some situation.
Pound it up, boo. Pound it up. You won't even know it's in there.
You won't know that you have that. My husband just told me yesterday that there was something that I've been able to accomplish, and there's something that I've been able to accomplish like over all of last year, and he was just like giving me kudos for it this morning, but it was because I was between a rock and a hard place. And had I not been in that place, I wouldn't have gotten this new skill set. I wouldn't have gone after good counsel. I wouldn't have even thought that these skill sets were necessary.
Yeah.
And so you're absolutely right. I think there are some situations that require us to like up our game in a certain area.
You know what I realized more and more in all those years of my security.
Because there is no security, right? Like, let's be clear.
My quote unquote security, where I was
none.
like, this is what I know I am, what I know I do, what I know
Yeah.
I can. Therefore, this is my safety net.
Right.
But in those years that I released myself from that, what I discovered was that I had to learn to trust myself more. That I had to learn to trust that I had the capacity to stop disqualifying all of the things that are attributes that I might not know.
Right.
I might not be familiar with them, not because they're not any good, because I just haven't used them.
Yes.
Like I could be, come to find out, I'm actually really good at faith.
Right.
Didn't know it when I wasn't using faith.
Right.
But once I started using it,
Right.
I'm actually kind of good at this. I'm actually good at this whole motherhood thing. I didn't know it before I wasn't using it, but
It's
once it became something that I needed to lean into,
Yes.
it became something that I'm thrilled about. And it's like until we're so afraid of these tools and these attributes that live in there that just haven't been cultivated. It's not that they're not great. We just haven't employed them, so we think that we're afraid of them because they're unknown to us.
We don't know that they're there.
Sometimes the best parts of us are yet to be revealed.
And isn't that crazy that you can have like a full set of skills like laying dormant in you?
Come on,
because
somebody.
I can think before Sky came 6 weeks early, and you know how freaked out I was, right? Because I was literally like, they were like, okay, you're not leaving the hospital until you have this baby. So I'm like, oh, so I'm gonna be here for 6 weeks,
Right.
Because I'm just thinking there's no way,
leaving my baby.
I'm just thinking there's no way that she's coming right now, or in the next day or two, which she came the next day.
She came.
Which was like total,
So
like
quickly.
it. But I can remember being in that hospital and I was literally saying out loud, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for. And I was playing it like a record. And then finally God was like, what? And I had to start like singing affirmations to myself. But in the moment, it scared the heck out of me. I was like, I'm not ready to be a mom. Well, chick, you're 7 months pregnant. I mean, 8 months. So she coming whether you want her to or not. But I literally started to feel like, I'm just not ready. I don't have things set up. I don't have things, things aren't prepared for the things in my life aren't prepared for her. And then what happened? You know what I mean? She came and everything was fine.
Yeah.
House was set up. We was still able to record podcast episodes. Like life went on, and I was able to be a mom. I had the skill set to do it. I mean, but laying in a hospital bed thinking she was coming 6 weeks later and she was coming in a few hours, like I was, girl. Can you have a nervous breakdown during labor? Because I was having one. Because I was just like, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? Like,
And you were totally ready.
because the first time being pregnant, honestly, in my mind, I really didn't, it was cute, but a real baby coming out, maybe not. It just is not very real.
Yeah.
That first time.
But this
It's
is the catch. This is what we all have to remember, and I think is so important, is that there was no brain surgery that happened for you to get you ready. Like,
No.
or me. Even marriage, man, I thought that was the death. I was like, that's where players go to die.
This is what happens when the great girlfriends go off air for 6 weeks.
I really did. I was like, I'm going to need
so
full
funny.
persuasion on marriage. I just didn't. It just was not my thing. But what happened was love taught me something new. It taught me to see things in a way that I hadn't seen things before. It taught me to pull from a different place.
Yeah.
I couldn't look at Kwaku with the same eyes that I looked at my exes with. I had to look at him with a different eye because he had different intentions.
Right.
And I had to make sure I showed up as
Right.
the woman that was worthy of the intention he was offering.
Absolutely.
Instead of the chick that was in New Orleans. I couldn't do the same things.
Right.
So I had to be intentional about who I was in the moment.
Right.
When it was time for you to push for Sky,
Yeah.
you pushed.
Yeah.
You had to be intentional in that moment that, okay, my moment is here. It's presenting
Absolutely.
itself to me. I have the opportunity to shrink, run, hide. If you had panicked, Brandis, Sky could have not made it. You understand
Yeah.
that. You in that moment had the key
Yeah.
that held her transition into this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could a number of things could have gone wrong as a result of you not shifting.
I had to show.
Cutting off those what ifs and
Yep.
saying, this is my moment. I'm going to show up as the person who's supposed to be in this moment,
And you just
and
have
I'm going
to
to kill it.
Yeah.
And
you
I'm
just
gonna
have to
kill
show
it.
and
And you
speak
pull from-
different words to
Yes,
yourself. You have to speak a
absolutely.
whole different set of words to yourself.
And you're pulling from
Yeah.
from a different muscle.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I think what we have to remember in 2018 is that if we don't want to be stuck, we don't want to have those regrets, we don't want to live with a life of what ifs. We don't want to have the boring, safe life. We don't want to look at the magazines and envy other people. We don't want to applaud Oprah for her beautiful speech
Right.
and then wonder where our speech is.
Right.
When our speech is in there, we have to start employing the right muscles and activating the woman that is supposed to be in the very moment.
Absolutely.
And she doesn't fly in, swoop in, take this head off, and put a new head on. That's not what happens.
Yeah.
Something rises up on
Yeah,
the inside,
absolutely.
and it flows out of you, and it shifts the atmosphere, and it transforms the moments, and all of a sudden, people looking like, is that you? Mm-hmm. Brandis? The mother? What? Sybil wife? What? Yes, ex's wife. Sit
Yeah.
back. Yes, I'm a mother. I mean, even boiled down, when you talk about motherhood, I think about nursing, and I was like, nursing, man, that's a whole other level to this thing. Kids alone, but nursing, what? And when it came to nursing, I was like, I don't know if I'm that mom, but I wanted to nurse my kids. And I was like, well, I'm going to give it a shot. Well, for you to do the thing that you want to give a shot, I can't go down that list of what ifs and that crying baby sitting there looking at me like, open up, drop it in.
Need it.
I have
Right.
to show up. And,
Right.
and sometimes I think that pressure
Yeah.
and that push and pull, that's like the moment is here.
Yeah.
You don't have a way out.
Yeah.
You have to step into it.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes those moments are critical for us to just be like, I'm just
Yeah.
going to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here, you know?
And honestly, those moments aren't done without fear. You know,
Absolutely.
Sometimes those moments are done with a little bit of fear, but it's so worth it.
Yes.
And we will tell you why it's worth it. Here is why you need to move forward in 2018.
All right.
All
That's
right.
it.
So I'm going to say number one is because you want to you want your life to inspire others.
Absolutely.
Right. And not just, people on social media. I'm talking first my family. Your life can literally transform your family.
Oh, my goodness.
So
Completely.
your life can transform the family that's in your house, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, your mom, your dad, your sister. Like how you live your life can literally serve as total inspiration for other people.
No, completely. If you don't like the picture, you can't change the frame. You change the picture.
Right.
So your life brings glory to God. Plain and simple. It's all of that beautiful abundance that's on the inside.
Yeah.
And in certain seasons, there's a time for you to pull and cultivate a different attribute, a different part of you that you've never seen before,
Yeah.
that I've never seen before, but whatever's being called for, it's in there. And and that's what brings glory to God, is knowing that when this vessel is being called on, whoever you are, great girlfriend, and me and Brandis, whenever the vessel is needed, we will do what it takes internally so that we can externally reveal him.
Absolutely. And your life will be fulfilled.
Woo!
I'm
Come on,
telling
somebody.
you, like, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it will be fulfilled. Like, when you forget about the what ifs and just go for it, you can go to bed with a smile on your face.
Yeah.
You know, because even if things aren't working, everything isn't working out great, you can feel so good because you know that if you left here today, like, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You have done it.
I love that. So
Yeah.
true. Ooh, never forsake the power of fulfillment.
Yes.
Honestly, that what you just said is peace. It's so good. And then lastly, you only get one life. You only get one life.
We're lucky just to have just one life. Yeah, no, it's true.
You get one life, and you don't want to load it with a bunch of questions that go unanswered. Like, I don't want to look around and be like, well, what if, and what if, and what if, and why not, and if I had, and then be that grandmother that teaches my grandchildren, if I have them, what ifs, and what ifs, and what ifs, and look at this world with this lens of fear, and walk around thinking my whole life that I'm not enough, and that I won't be loved, when the truth of the matter is I'm more than enough.
Yes.
And I have all the love I need on the inside, waiting to generate more love on the outside.
Yes. And all the tools you need,
All
like
the
you said.
tools.
All the tools
We
you need
have
on the
it.
inside. So, yeah.
Yes.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, girlfriends. Kwaku, thank you for being the boo.
Bye.
My number one, my only.
And thank you so much to Mr. Rich Daniel.
Aw, thank you, Sam and Dilly. They're upstairs being super quiet so we can record.
They are. Thank you to Miss Sky Grace.
Yeah, she gave you this whole Monday.
She did.
You know she's due for a visit, right?
I know.
I'm just putting it on the
She's
recording
ready now.
for the
She's
record.
like fully ready. Yeah,
All
she's
right.
ready.
Well, her mother needs to get ready and drop her off.
Well, if it starts keep snowing in New Jersey,
Oh my
I
goodness.
can't be coming way out here.
And thanks to all of you great girlfriends for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter. Make sure you listen every Wednesday on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Republic, Podcast Bean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and every other podcasting service.
Absolutely. And please check us out on our social, on our Instagram,
The Great Girlfriends,
on our Twitter,
_great GFS,
and our Facebook.
The Great Girlfriends.
And please join our Facebook group where we're actually streaming live right now.
Hey! Yes, over 16,000 strong.
Absolutely. And if you have not already, please go to our website. Make sure you signed up for our newsletter so you can be the first to know about everything that we're going to have going on this year.
Hallelujah. Yes, make sure you post your questions online, share with your friends, keep listening, and keep being a great girlfriend. I'm Sybil,
I'm Brandon.
and we're signing off.
Bye, guys.
Bye.